It's my favorite day, Monday. My favorite ways of doing things comes every Monday, and today we're talking about my favorite ways of dealing with cold sores. And there's three main ways that we see that cold sores generally appear in most people, and that is number one, due to sun exposure. That is number one at the top, and this is the one most relevant this time of the year when people start getting sun, especially that first time that you're out in the sun for the spring summer season. The second one is excessive carbohydrate intake. That's number two, high amounts of carbohydrate in the diet. And the third one is stress. And let me explain why this happens. And that is that cold sores are basically a herpes-based virus, and when we have these herpes viruses in the nervous system, they're really controlled by calcium in the skin, and that requires fat. And when we start getting high levels of insulin, high levels of stress, or even sun exposure, we deplete the fat out of the skin, and the net result of that is allows these viruses to take off and start replicating like crazy, which sets everything off. So in order to control this, we need to make sure we keep the fat in the skin. We need to keep calcium levels under control, and that doesn't mean taking calcium. Let me explain that. All right, so what can we do about it? All right, sun. The sun is the easy one. So there'll be a certain percentage of people where you know if you get sunburnt the first time of the year, or you spend a lot of time out in the sun, the first 30-odd degree day of the season, you'll end up with a cold sore somewhere in the next 24 to 48 hours. So this is how you get around it. It's a really simple thing to do. Number one, the biggest thing you can do straight away is on that day, that night, take 2,000 units of fish oil right before bed. So take a whole lot before you go to bed, and the result of that will be you push the fat back in the skin, and that will keep it under control. And for most people, it usually stops the cold sore actually developing in the first place. The second one is carbohydrate, and this is really common. We see people develop cold sores when they have too much sugar in their diet. They are drinking beer, all these type of things that spike insulin levels, and it draws everything up. We see this especially in teenagers and in kids, where this really takes a hold of them. So the number one thing we need to do with this is control insulin. And how do we control insulin? Well, we keep them to a low GI diet. Keep the carbohydrate intake down in their diet. And the next thing we want to do is reduce the amount of carbohydrate in relation to fat. So either increase the oil in the diet, good quality fats, things like ghee, flaxseed oil, olive oil, increase these dramatically in the diet, and drop the carbohydrate down. That'll get insulin under control, restore fat metabolism back to normal. Third one is stress. And we've all heard conversations taking place about how stress causes all these issues with cold sores. So stress, few things you can do to get that under control. Number one is sleep routine. Really important, good sleep hygiene. Get to bed at a reasonable hour. Midnight is not a reasonable hour. Aim between 9:30 to 10:30 p.m. That's what we want. Early to bed, early to rise. That's the that's the role, yeah? Next one, exercise balance. When I say exercise balance, I mean don't just flog yourself every day. High intensity. Have balance. Some days you go hard, some days you recover and go easy and keep your heart rate down. It's all about keeping the balance. Downtime. Make sure you get some downtime. Make sure you spend some time on your own. Make sure you just take some time to just smell the roses. You don't always have to be racing through life. It's not a race. You don't have to keep up with the Joneses. Take some time to just have some fun and enjoy life as well. The final one is carbohydrate control. Coming back to here again, keep those sugar levels under control. When we start getting really stressed, we tend to naturally move back towards carbohydrate and sugars to help calm the brain down. Keep them under control. We need to make sure that we keep those insulin levels down. So now there's my top three ways of controlling a cold sore. Number one, fish oil if you get sun exposure. Two, get the fat up, low GI, keep carbohydrate under control. Three, good lifestyle routines and dietary control to keep your stress levels under control, and you'll go a long way to stopping your cold sores from not just appearing, but never appearing again. Now guys, if you have any questions about that, just post them up below. Otherwise, send me a message. Always happy to chat. My teams are always here from you. I'm Trevor Chakouti from Spinewise, and we'll catch you in the next vid. Bye for now.